Alright, there were 3 banger wins on the 5 minute with my trading strategy yesterday in the markets. And honestly, I'm starting to think that this strategy might be a bit insane, to be fair. Because recently, my strategy has been doing insanely well. And I'm going to walk you through my strategy and the trades that I took. I actually only took one of these, amazingly. I took this one as well on evals. But I took this one on funded here. And I'm going to walk you through my strategy. So, let's go on the replay mode and I'll walk you through the day. So let's go through these trades so you can see exactly how I trade, exactly why I've got an 80% win rate, exactly why I've got myself 100k of payouts last year, and exactly why I've been absolutely cooking it in the market. So here are my rules on the right here. Take a look at these, keep them in mind as we go through. I'm going to check them off as we look for trades. So I wake up, every day I wake up in the morning at 8 AM. So let's go, we're at 8 AM. This is UK time, so I trade London and New York afternoon. I don't trade Asia because I'm asleep. So all I do, I wake up at 8 o'clock and I mark out the obvious lows on the 5 minute. This is all I do. Go down, look at these obvious lows. Oh, there's one here. Oh, there's one here. These are the obvious lows. Doesn't have to be complicated, maybe this one as well. Super simple. This is all I do. And we're at all-time highs. So what am I targeting? I'm targeting all-time highs because we know when we're at all-time highs, price action loves to just pump to all-time highs again. So I've established my liquidity target, which is the first thing that I do. I've identified these lows. I'll set alerts at them and I'll wait for them to get swept. Then what I'll do is I'll just wait for one of them to get hit. So let's wind this on. Come down here. So the first one gets hit here. We create ourselves a little 5 minute gap here in price. So let's go through my checklist of what I'm looking for to take a trade. Liquidity target is all-time highs, so this is checked off. I've got a sweep here, as you can see, of this really obvious low that I marked before I got up. So I've got an alert here. This is triggered, so I know what's going on. So I've got my liquidity target. I've got myself a sweep. I've got myself a nice bullish reaction after coming down here. You can see we've got a good momentum to the upside. Let's just wind this on and see what happens on the next candle. Nothing there. And then we do get the inverse. I actually took this one because even though we didn't get the 3 candle pattern V shape, which would have made this a trade that I would have taken with lots of accounts, I took this with a 5 account stack out of my 30 accounts because I thought that this would work. I like the idea of this, you can see, and then we V shape, we've got all-time highs above, we've got obvious targets here. I thought this made sense. So this is how I trade. What have we got? Liquidity target is all-time highs. We get the sweep. We've got the bullish reaction. We've got the momentum. We didn't get the 3 candle V-shape, which would have made this even better. And I would have copy traded it with more accounts. Probably my full stack. I took it with 5 accounts because we are at all-time highs and we have it a little bit choppy this week. So I didn't want to risk my full stack on anything that wasn't insanely good looking. And this is how I enter. I enter on the inverse of the gap. You can see we've got a gap here. We created an inverted fair value gap. You can see we create the gap here and then we come back and close above it. This is what I trade. You can see everything here, all my criteria filled out. The only thing that we didn't have was the 3 candle pattern V shape, but I still thought this made sense. And I liked how good this candle was and how it closed over with a good amount of gusto. You can see how there's barely any top wick on this. So I enter and then I'll basically be looking to target 1R. I think I had my stop loss somewhere around here. I took this with about 4 micros, $200 risk on 5 accounts. If we come down and close back below this gap, I'll close down here for about $200 loss. And I'm targeting a 1-for-1. As you can see, 1-for-1's about here. So let's wind this on. And as you can see, instantly went and hit my 1R, which was fantastic. So I scale half my position, $100 profit on each account and go break even on the rest. And then I was holding the rest up to this high. Now on this specific trade, usually I would just hold runners all the way up to the all-time highs. But look how much we started messing around here. Once we started stalling at this high, I basically scaled another half of my position here at about 2R because we were up 2R at this point. And then I left the last micro, I think it was, for a runner. And then you can see we came down and got break even, which was really annoying because I really felt like this probably could have worked up to the all-time highs. But you can't win every trade with a massive result. I got about 1.5R on this, maybe almost 2R with the amount that I scaled. And this was the first trade. So very simple stuff. We'll wind it on to the next one. So we're chopping around, you know, we're chopping around before open. And then open happens here. Let me just take this back a touch. Open happens here, wherever we are. Open was horrible, by the way. You can see we inverse to the upside, to the downside. All kinds of stuff was going off here. Really, really horrible chop. Nothing that I would take here. Nothing super obvious. But we are creating some, you know, some new lows here that I can trade from. So I just basically would have like remarked these throughout the day, or at least kept them in my head as places that I could have traded from. You can see we've got new lows here that we can sweep and look for trades from. I didn't trade because this was horrible price action. You can see that we had this 5-minute gap that we created here. We did have a sweep and we did get the inverse on this candle. And you can see here that this actually ended up, if I just enter this trade on the paper here and then look for... You can see this actually worked. I never would have taken this because I like to see sweep, V-shape and continuation like this. But look what we got. We got a sweep of the low. We come back. We reject the gap twice. We come down. We sweep the low again. And then we inverse. And we're just chopping around at open. And I don't like to see this. I will not enter a trade if we see ourselves chopping around like an absolute bitch like this. There's no way in hell that I was going to take this trade. But as you can see, it did end up working, which was pretty remarkable, really. And it wasn't the cleanest setup, but I saw a lot of people that took this, and people in my community took this as well. By the way, join the Discord down below. We're almost at 100 members, and when we do get 100 members, I'll do a giveaway. By the way, I alerted this trade in my premium. If you do want to get alerts for my trades, you can do that as well, and you could have bagged yourself another win for the week. And then you can see here, we just chopped around for ages after hitting 27k, which was my target for that trade in my head. You can see 27k, big round number. We chopped around loads when we hit that. And then we're just pumping up. Obviously, we've got a nice bullish trend day here. So I'll mark out a few more of these lows, put some alerts at them, and then I just wait for them to get hit. You can see we're kind of chopping around, not doing too much here. We come down, and we actually create this low on the 5-minute. There was an inverse here, but you can see there's no sweep, so I wouldn't have taken this. But then we create this low here, and because we're so bullish, I'm thinking, well, if we've created a swing low here, and then we come back up and inverse this gap here, which is nice and big and obvious, we'll probably keep going. And we did have earnings after hours as well. So if we wind this on, you can see really, really good reaction there. Obviously, I would have entered here. Stop loss. I'm scaled. I've got about 4 micros on this. This is scaled for a different thing, but this is 4 micros risk. $200 on 5 accounts. These were just evals. I wasn't trading this because we were really high up on the day, as you can see. So I wasn't really looking to take longs. But I took these on evals because I was trying to pass some more evals to add to my funded account stack. And you can see here, this one worked as well. Really, really nice. Just all the things that I was looking for. You can see we've got liquidity. Obviously, we don't have liquidity really, but because we're at all-time highs, you just expect price to keep going. And we did have after-hours news, which you would have expected to pump pretty much all the time. After-hours news just pumps. So what have we got? Liquidity. We've got the sweep. We've got really good bullish momentum here. This wasn't a 3 candle, but it was a 4 candle. I mean, look at this. This looks really V-shaped after the sweep. We've got everything here for my criteria for an entry. So I entered here. I've got my stop loss as a manual stop if we can start coming back down to here. And then targeting 1 for 1. As you can see, we hit that straight away. So I scaled half there, left the rest for runners. I think I got out at about a 3 to 1 on this one. As you can see, we started messing around after that. And the session was ending, so I did have to close my positions. But overall, a day of absolute beast trading for my strategy, for my model. Absolutely incredible day. And yeah, just ridiculously good price action recently for my model specifically. All-time highs have been doing really well for it. And as you can see here, today so far, I'm just winding this back to right now so I can take a look. You can see that we are currently kind of... Oh, we've actually got ourselves another winner here. I mean, this one isn't the best because we haven't swept an external low. But if you look here, we've got ourselves this kind of area of price. And we have got ourselves a 5... I'm sure the 5-minute is just undefeated at the minute in terms of inverses. Every single time that it inverses, we go up. This one just went for a 2R. This wasn't even a good trade, really, because you can see... I think this is probably a Trump candle. But you can see here, what is this electronic trading hours here? You can see here, we didn't get this sweep. We had no sweep of liquidity like a low like this, so I never could have taken this. But this, I mean, 5-minute gaps have been pretty undefeated recently. Really, there's nothing that we could have taken here, really. I mean, you could have argued, I did actually alert that this was a potential trade in the Discord here earlier. But obviously we never got the, once we swept this low, we never got the inverse back up. We came down. There is actually, you could argue, a massive 5-minute gap here that you could have longed. And this would have been 1R right now. Would have taken ages to play out. But again, no real, like, we're in a bit of a weird spot here. Where you know, you can see the clear swing lows. we're creating an incredible trend line below as well. I mean, surely we're going to run this soon. Trend lines like that. I mean, look at this trend line. This is ridiculous. This is going to get ran for sure. Like, surely this is going to get ran at some point. But as you can see, like, no, pretty much ridiculous price action recently. I took some great trades this week. I also took this 5 minute down here. If you're interested in another trade that I took, you can see this one. I actually got this into this a bit early on, based on there was a 3 minute close down here that I took this based off of, something like this. This one ended up working as well, as you can see. Really obvious sweep, 5 minute inverse, back to the upside. Simple as you like. And it's been really effective. My community have been loving it. As I said, go and join the Discord below. We're almost at 100 members. Once we do that, I'll do a giveaway for a Lucid account in the Discord. And if you do want to get premium, you can get alerts for all the trades that I take, trades that I'm thinking about taking. I've been taking a lot of winners recently, I can't lie. Been absolutely cooking in there. I think I took 1 loss over the past 2 weeks and about 10 wins. It's been a wild time, so make sure you get involved, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.